Right, guys, these are notes on the excretory system. Think about that word, excretory, and the first part of it, excrete. We've used that word before when we were way back when we were talking about what are the 8 things that make something living, right? What makes a living organism? One of the things was excretes wastes. Excrete means to get rid of, to remove, and your excretory system is all about removing wastes. That's showing a kidney and the renal artery, renal veins carrying blood to, carrying blood away from the kidneys. And kidneys are filtering organs, and we'll learn a little bit about that right now. So the parts of the excretory system. This is not just your urinary system. The book uses that term, the urinary system. That's part of the excretory system. That's a big part of it, actually. And these are your urinary organs, but there's also some other parts, and they overlap with some of the other systems. So kidneys, obviously, and that's these bean-shaped structures here, right, on either side of your body. The bladder, which is down here, that's what stores urine before you get rid of it. The liver, which you don't see in that picture, but the liver helps you to get rid of toxins. We know it works with the digestive system, producing bile. I talked about that on the last set of notes. But it also helps you to detoxify when you take in certain substances. It goes a long way with that, so that's why it overlaps with the excretory system. The spleen is an organ that, as an excretory system organ, it recycles dead red blood cells. So that's one way it's in the excretory system. The large intestine, obviously, it's in the digestive system, but that's the end part of the digestive system, right? Where you have your feces being produced before you get rid of it. So that's why the large intestine is included there. And lungs, because we exhale that poisonous gas, carbon dioxide, right? We can't hang on to that. That's a waste product for us. We have to exhale that. And then finally, skin, and we talked about this with the integumentary system. There's waste removal there with your sweat. Excess salt and ammonia and water and other substances need to go with your sweat. So that's why it's lumped in with the excretory system. Okay, functions. Some of these functions go along with what we were just talking about there, right? You're getting rid of wastes like urine, feces, carbon dioxide, sweat. So that's one of the primary functions of your excretory system, removing waste from the body, right? I gave you some examples there. The other part of it has a lot to do with the urinary system and what your kidneys do. Your kidneys are filters. They filter your blood, and they filter your blood so that you either are getting rid of excess water or you're hanging on to the water. And if you're getting rid of the water, they're also taking out what you need to get rid of that's in your blood and adding it to that excess water. That's how urine is made in your kidneys. Your kidneys then dump that urine, and it goes down this long tube called the ureter, and it ends up in the bladder down here, right? That's this muscular organ down here. That the bladder is it's somewhat stretchable, and it's a muscular organ. It stretches out, but you get that sensation like you have to go to the bathroom, right? And that's when you get a contraction. But you're able to control that to a certain extent. And I've had students ask me, if I hold my urine, will my bladder just pop? And no, it won't. You'll just start to urinate uncontrollably. So at some point, you can't control it. But for the most part, you can hold it when you're young, when you're a toddler, when you're really kind of developing and finding out what those sensations are, that's when those accidents happen because they're playing or whatever, and all of a sudden I got to go, and it's too late. So you get used to that as you get older, those sensations, and I better get to the bathroom at this point because I don't want to have an accident. You start to learn those kinds of things, and that's a learning process when you're really young. But you can't hold your urine forever. You're just going to go uncontrollably at some point. And that last part underneath the bladder, that's called the urethra. That's a tube that leads out of the body, right? So that's where the urine exits. And girls have urethras, guys have urethras. They just end up in two different places, right? But that last function has a lot to do with your kidneys, and that is regulating body fluids. Your kidneys determine whether you need to hang on to some water or get rid of some water, right? So if you're starting to get dehydrated, they're going to filter that water back into your bloodstream. If you've got plenty of water, if you're plenty hydrated, then it's going to turn it into urine and you're going to get rid of it. If you're really hydrated and you're drinking a lot of water, you notice your urine is a lot uh, more kind of clear looking rather than yellow. When you're very active on a hot day and you're just drinking water, like you can't stop drinking water, and you don't have to go all the time, but when you finally do, it's very concentrated, very yellow. It's because your body's hanging on to a lot of that water. You're staying hydrated because it's hot and you're being active outside. On days like today or in the winter, when you're sitting around in the house and you're just drinking soda or juice or just drinking water or whatever, and you're going more often and you notice your urine is very clear, it's because you're plenty hydrated. Your body's not having to hang on to that water. But if your kidneys aren't working properly, you can basically drown in your own fluids because they need to regulate that body fluid. They need to make that determination. Does your body need to hang on to the water, or do you need to get rid of the water? So they're important in that way, that filtration system. All right, so the next slide is a few paragraphs of the book. It's toxic waste, what are the functions of the excretory system, and I've highlighted that for you, and a few different ways your body gets rid of waste. And as usual, you can play the recording. And what are organs in the urinary system? A couple more paragraphs. This one's definitely talking about the kidneys and how they work. It gets pretty technical here, and you're not going to be responsible for a lot of this stuff. Things about nephrons and the glomerulus and different things like that. But that's just really telling you how urine's being made in your body. And then it goes in through the parts again: ureters, bladder, urethra, and it shows a good image there. That girl who's bike riding with. It shows where your kidneys are, and they're not in the front, right? Your intestines are in the front, they're at the back. So if you feel your back and you kind of feel where your ribs kind of end at the back, that's about where your kidneys sit at the back, kind of on the sides. And then of course your bladder is down closer to your midsection, right? Where your legs attached to your torso. And then this last picture is from the book also, showing the filtering process in the kidneys, and really gives some good detail about that, and how your urine is formed. And the book does a good job explaining all that, so take some time to read that or have it read to you. Nothing to fill in on these notes. Just need you to make copies and make sure you're adding them to your notebook. I'm going to do a notebook update on Friday so you guys know where you should be with your notebook and how many slides you should have in there.